Got ourselves Feather Piece over for the team one as a Boomkin ready to go. We got Body Heals and a Holy DK Judgmental with Merlin as well. I like the look, man. I like Merlin's like the whole like the human customization with that one blind eye thing with the scar. And it's like, it just looks good. And then you got the full like light armor set. Wait, Body immediately charging up versus Flex. It's gonna be Unholy versus Unholy. All the undeads, the entire graveyard shift is in play. With Body just trying to see if he keeps himself afloat here. It's gonna be Flex rotating a lot of defenses. Body going for IPM, but super late. Do they have enough damage? Because Body's burst usually is very slow, but ramps up really heavy at the end. But looks like the execute came out for Flex super early. Got Body alone and it just hits him with an execute. It's like, all right, as long as there's that sits there, I just need to wait long enough and then it just lands it. It is ready for whoever's going to be next. Just Mentor is going to be up next, not giving Flex an opportunity to catch up and kind of heals. Flex picking up whatever death strikes he can with a stun right after. He's going to have to take a lot of damage here. Searing Glare. I think he's just going to have to go for AMS, potentially Death Pact. He has an opportunity to go for a lot of Death Strike killing, but as his health gets super low, maybe it might be a good idea just to get slow into just Mentor and then walk out of there with a Death Pact. Just let it sit there for a second until the necrotics fall off, and then he could follow up with a couple of Death Strikes. He built up a lot of resources. He has a lot of runic power, so potentially he'll be okay. Judgmental just getting a lot of damage onto that ghoul. For Flex, it's an opportunity to maybe go for Death Strikes, convert that into healing, but yet another stun is going to put a wrench in that whole plan. It's just potentially over, but for Flex, there's just not much you can really do. It did pop a Lichborn at the tail end, but unfortunately, it just was not quite enough, man. Not quite enough. Thanks, bro. Merlin got that scar from this duels. Yo, you actually got lore? Merlin got the scar from Duel in Chicago? I like that. I like the lore behind it, man. That's even better, actually. That's kind of sick. I love that. I love the whole, like, the RPG factor of it. Interrupt does not go through as Ray does get to go for a juke wearing the gem that allows him to juke a cast and then get the immunity. So that's actually really good for him. For Judgmental, he's unable to really get himself too much pressure off of that bop. Ray looking plenty healthy. Judgmental picking up as much healing as possible. I think Lay on Hand's still available, so definitely will want to use it whenever possible. Bubbles adds a lot of pressure out for Ray. Got himself Heart of the Wild really early. He's gonna use that Heart of the Wild just to survive the Pally to match his cadence. For Judgmental, that's a lot of healing though with that Dawnlight. And he could potentially pick up the Eye. That's exactly what he's going for. With Ray trying to see if he can still get that proper opener. I don't know if he's going to be able to. Yeah, unable to really get a proper stun. That rake stun out by the Paladino. Wake of Ash is not available, but he's got himself Searing Glare. That's going to help out a little bit. Wall for Ray. With the Shield of Vintage, Metro, I still think needs to go for a proper Wake of Ashes here. Maim to follow. Shield of Vintage is going to pop back at him in a second, doing a decent bit of overall damage. Full bleeds are in. Hand of Freedom is out for the Paladino. Does get himself the dot damage onto Ray, but he may need to go for self-healing instead. I think Lay on Hands is still available, right? Tell me Lay on Hands is still available. I might just need to wait until he's super low before he uses it. Definitely want to use it before he gets stunned up. So if you're going to use it, I'd use it now, honestly. I'd use it now if you're going to do it. The Pharaoh's approaching. It's going to happen. He's got the human ratio to break out of a stun. Lay on Hands, my guy. Lay on Hands. There it goes. He got it. Stun onto Ray. Does get a full set of bleeds on him. That's going to be a bit of damage out of Judgmental. He's still taking so much raw pressure from those rod and dots, man. That is just a lot to deal with all at once. That is a ton. With Ray catching up as much healing as possible. It's going to be, looks like Merlin up next from one Paladino into the next. I really like the way those horses charge, by the way. I really like it. All they do is not run. Can you just ban pharaohs? Bro, are we banning pharaohs? Maybe? Where's the one I'm going to worry about? Lol. Wait, is a Paladin? I thought Paladin would have a much better time with the pharaoh. Honestly. But, chat, are we going to ban pharaohs now? I feel like we don't really see that many pharaohs and duels on a regular. Maybe like a decent amount, an okay amount here and there over on the NA, but I don't know. I'm not sure if we should ban a class, man. I feel like maybe pharaohs back at Shadowlands were egregious. Like I feel like a lot of people would describe them as egregious, but I don't know about right now. Trying to go for Cyclone, but Ray. Seeing a Lay on Hands out from Merlin. Merlin with a full stun. That's a full set of bleeds. Feral Frenzy, everything. Merlin. I don't know if he's got much to really work with here. Is that going to be just all in bleeds? He's got the Dawnlight, only 21% dampening, so it's not the most amount of damage healing reduction But those heals are barely keeping him alive, and all procs from Thorns are also huge. Got him over fighting Demoniac and fighting with Rogue Feral Jesus, really? Rogues are more egregious until stupid Pod Bender comes out. Bro, the Pod Bender was crazy back in SL. But Ray does end up taking him out, unfortunately. With Feather Piece gonna be up next. Are we actually banning? Okay, I'll let the chat decide, like, if you guys think that, yeah, we should ban the Feral or not. If it's only WAP is the only one say we should ban the Feral, I don't know if that'll be enough. But if, like, literally the rest of you are like, yeah, ban the Ferals, then maybe we'll have to consider something. Because Ray, I mean, if we get Ray, we could bring in Caneric. That could work too. Ray just getting blasted out by massive surges, though. Last time he barely survived the Boomkin's opener burst, and he's still barely alive, yet the surge puts him on death's door. It looks like the dots were enough. Feather P6 was able to take it. DMC is charging out the Boomkin instantly. Cyclone, try to see if he can get a juke on it. Is going to get a stun, getting the dots in. He's going to need to use everything here. Root, Silence, actually is huge. Bubble out for DMCS. I think it might be lights. You're at least in bear form. The most amount of healing you can get. Heart of the Wild, Renew, everything is available. Blind for DMCS. You just try to really put the pressure. But DMCS bubbled that. So maybe Feather can go for another full burst onto DMCS. I don't know if he can. That Root Silence was awesome. Trying to see if he can make some huge burst happen. Unless he got a heal, though. Yeah, unless he's got a heal, it's going to be rough. Uriel trying to see if he can get himself an ankle. Maybe he can get one up and running. With Flash and Lights are available. But he doesn't have, like, he has a bop. That won't stop a lot of the Hunter damage. You can just remove it and silence him. Plus, Black Arrow goes through that immediately. It's all shadow damage. Stun onto Uriel. He does go in for a trinket. Does not go for a purge onto DMCS. I think it's because, like, he's got Black Arrow. He doesn't really need to worry about it immediately. DMCS going for as much self-healing as possible. 33% dampening is going to make things a little tougher. For Uriel, he also needs to be really careful. That is a Paladin with a full Dawn Knight build. So that is going to be dot damage. Healing over time. He's just got to get himself a good angle. Wall up right now. Final wreck onto Uriel. Unless DMC has himself a good lockdown. Turtle before any kind of stuns comes out. And DMC does get hit with a stun. Unless Uriel can maybe land it here. I think a stun. Hodge. Being very careful and mindful of the binding shot. I think he just takes out Uriel here. He does still with a land ants add already. So he's actually okay. I was actually thinking that with Black Arrow, it was just going to pierce through him. The Ray does a lot of damage, by the way. As a Feral Druid, he's just absolutely brutal, man. Absolutely brutal. And some of the bleed things are going to be able to do in Midnight. It sounds like it's going to get stronger, boys.